New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello has been fired. Code red, everybody alert. Sandy Brondello is out on the market. We got a shark out on the...
The New York Liberty have fired their championship-winning head coach, Sandy Brondello, in a move so shocking it's already being called one of the dumbest in WNBA history. But while New York is busy self-destructing, their catastrophic mistake has just created the single greatest opportunity for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. The one coach who could truly unlock Clark's dynasty potential is now suddenly on the market. And this move might not just change Indiana's future, it could expose the politics working to hold Caitlin Clark back.
I think Sandy Brondello is the best option for us to get the Caitlin Clark of Iowa. Bring in Sandy. Bring in Sandy, and it's going to be showtime, because I believe if you get Sandy, Sabrina Ionescu's a free agent. Breanna Stewart is a free agent. We talking big business now. We talking big boys.
The news came down like a lightning strike on a clear day, less than a single year after leading the New York Liberty to their first ever WNBA championship. Sandy Brondello's contract was not being renewed. In the cold, corporate language of a press release, she was out. The move sent shockwaves rippling across the entire league, leaving fans, analysts, and even rival coaches completely stunned and scrambling for answers.
She's a great player. It would have been good for our craft to see her, but hopefully they get to see her after post-All-Star. You get to play them again. As for the All-Star, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit. I think that's the part of the All-Star. It's going to coach players that you haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
The timing was what made it so unbelievably brutal. It came just days after a hard-fought playoff elimination where the team was visibly and publicly ravaged by injuries to its biggest stars. Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Jonquel Jones had all been battling significant ailments, grinding it out on the court in a gutsy, but ultimately doomed, effort. Instead of showing loyalty and gratitude to the coach who held it all together through that storm of adversity, the front office showed her the door. It was a cold, calculated execution when everyone expected a vote of confidence.
To me, Sandy doesn't strike me as a yes man. She strikes me as somebody, when she's talking to the general manager, she's going to speak her mind. She's just not going to, yes, GM, yes. Yes, general manager, I agree. Yes, general manager, I agree.
What makes this story truly shocking and exposes the deep fracture within the organization is the massive, undeniable disconnect between the front office and the players. This wasn't a situation where a coach had lost the locker room in the final, emotional press conference. Just moments after their season ended, the players were not blaming their coach. They were passionately defending her. They stood by her side, united. When a reporter dared to ask a question floating around online about whether Brondello should return next year, superstar Breanna Stewart's response was visceral and immediate.
27-17, ravaged by injury all season long. Jonquel Jones out for a good part of the season. Breanna Stewart dealing with a knee issue during the playoffs. They lose in round.
She couldn't hide her disgust, muttering a frustrated, "What the fuff?" under her breath, in pure disbelief that anyone would even question it. Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu then launched into a passionate defense of their coach, making it crystal clear to the entire world that they had her back completely. And then, just one day later, the rug was pulled out from under all of them. The front office, led by General Manager Jonathan Kolb, released a cold, emotionless statement thanking Brondello for her everlasting impact while simultaneously pushing her out the door. The players' raw loyalty was met with a corporate betrayal.
The New York Liberty have let go Sandy Brondello. Well, in their terms, they will not renew her contract. In our eyes, they parted ways. She was fired, essentially. But not as bad as being fired, I guess. But that's just how we talk out here. Nonetheless, I'm shocked. She's been a coach there for 4 seasons. You look at the past 3 seasons, she made it to the finals in her 2nd season. She won the finals in her 3rd season, and they lost in round 1 this year. Outside looking in, you look at this franchise and you see that's a successful franchise. New York is a powerhouse in the W right now.
Let's be absolutely clear, this wasn't just a questionable coaching change. It was arguably one of the dumbest and most indefensible moves in the history of the Liberty franchise. They didn't just lose a coach, they lost the architect of their entire championship culture, the woman who turned them from an afterthought into a powerhouse. In just 4 seasons, Sandy Brondello became the winningest coach in franchise history, compiling a staggering 107-53 record. She didn't just win, she built a juggernaut from the ground up. She took the Liberty to the playoffs every single year of her tenure.
What would you say to those who question whether Sandy should be here next year to coach you guys again? I'm not saying I question it. There's just some people that do.
I mean, to anybody that kind of questions Sandy being here, like, this is a resilient group, and she has our back and we have hers. And the way that she continued to kind of, I don't know, deal with the cards she was dealt, like, was incredible. It wasn't easy for anybody, but she came in every day with a positive attitude and a mindset to put us in our best positions possible and best foot forward. So we're not going to be a team that points fingers. You know, there's a lot of us that could have done better this season, but we're still going to fight and show up for each other every single day, and I think that's what's the most important part. So we have Sandy's back.
Thanks, everyone.
She reached the WNBA Finals twice, and in 2024, after decades of heartbreak and coming up short, she delivered the one thing that had always eluded New York, a WNBA championship trophy. Her resume is elite. She is one of only 2 coaches in the history of the entire league to win a title with multiple franchises. Yet, after a season that was completely derailed by crippling injuries to her top talent, a season where she still managed to will them into the playoffs through sheer force of will, the organization she built tossed her aside like she was nothing. It's not just messy or unprofessional, it's a level of insanity that is hard to comprehend.
Just saw this news and I went, what the bleep? Literally, audibly out of my mouth, what the...
And that's where the entire plot thickens, twisting away from New York's self-destruction and toward an incredible opportunity. The fallout from the firing didn't just stay in New York. It was like a tidal wave that crashed over the entire league, and its epicenter was Indiana. Almost instantly, fans across social media erupted with a single, unified, and deafening demand. The Indiana Fever must dump their current head coach, Stephanie White, and hire Sandy Brondello immediately. The buzz wasn't a whisper, it was an absolute roar.
2 WNBA championships, and the year before, in 2023, won the Eastern Conference title. I mean, what are we doing? She's got a 600 winning percentage and a ton of experience.
Ever coach straight of any All-Star game ever. Just want to get your thoughts on that in your mind. First for you, Leo.
Dano Step? Yeah. That you got traded? Yeah. Oh, I got to go look at all that. Traded? I have no idea what the teams are.
Second time in history now. Jeez, as a player. And I got traded, yes. My son hit me up after he goes, I've created history. This is awesome. I got traded as a coach. But look, I get to coach with Sabrina. I'm on Caitlin Clark's in Indianapolis. I mean, what a great show. So we'll go out there and have some fun.
Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook were flooded with ultimatums. Hire Sandy, bring Brondello to Indiana, Clark deserves her. This wasn't just a casual suggestion, it was a movement. For many fans, Stephanie White has worn out her welcome. With far too many questionable rotations, bizarre substitutions, and crucial moments where she seemed to hinder Caitlin Clark's game rather than unleash it. This wasn't just about hiring a good coach for the Fever, it was about uniting a truly generational player with the one coach who fans believed could elevate her to legendary status.
Last 3 seasons, Sandy Brondello, 32-8, made the finals, lost to the Las Vegas Aces. 2024, made the finals.
We can fix a lot of this we messed up. We can fix a lot of things that were messed up in the past off season. Let's fix it. Let's not be stubborn. Let's fix it. Let's go get Sammy Brondello.
This dream partnership isn't just fan fiction. It's a prophecy that we have already seen unfold right before our eyes. To understand the depth of this connection, you have to roll the tape back to the 2025 WNBA All-Star Game. In a move that was completely unprecedented, something no player had ever done before, team captain Caitlin Clark shocked everyone by literally trading for a coach. She didn't want just anyone on her sideline. She specifically maneuvered behind the scenes to get Sandy Brondello to coach her squad, and once they were together, the chemistry was immediate and undeniable.
Moments after a painful Game 3 loss, Brondello said the group was, quote, very disappointed, but she couldn't be more proud of her players. We faced adversity this year, which happens in sports, but we left it all out there. And that's all you can ask of this team.
New York Liberty just fired their head coach. People are confused as to why, because they won the championship last year. They made the playoffs this year. In sports, there's always a scapegoat when things aren't going the way that they wanted it to go. Clearly, in New York, the standard has been raised. As Coach Tibbs learned with the New York Knicks, making the playoffs does not guarantee that you are safe anymore. They have raised the standard. They're sending a message to the fans, to the team, saying, we don't want to just go to the playoffs. We need to go to the finals and we need to win. So if it's not the players on the court that are changing, it's got to be the coaching staff. So unfortunately, that did mean Coach Sandy.
Though Clark was sidelined with an injury and couldn't play, Brondello didn't just bench her and make her a mascot. She empowered her. She handed Clark a clipboard, brought her into the huddle, and made her an honorary assistant coach for the entire game. Brondello openly told the media she would give Clark the coaching hat as much as she wants, a sign of immense respect for Clark's basketball IQ that is rarely shown to such a young player. That single weekend proved that the connection between them wasn't just a fan dream, it was real.
Outside looking in, you look at this franchise and you see that's a successful franchise. New York is a powerhouse in the W right now. So what is the issue? What is the front office looking at? What are the owners?
I'm sorry. This is exactly the kind of coach. I've brought her name up a few times. I just never thought she'd be available to be frank.
So why did New York really fire a coach who brought them a championship, built their culture, and had the unwavering public support of her superstar players? The official, sanitized explanation from the front office was about being proactive and embracing evolution and innovation for the future. But reporting from ESPN and other insiders peeled back the layers of that corporate jargon, revealing a ruthless, cold-blooded championship or bust mentality. Sources indicated that Brondello's job was secretly on the line even a year ago, and that only winning the 2024 title saved her then.
I know the Stephanie White defenders are going to be thick and deep. I don't care. I don't. She's a clear upgrade. And you've got an elite, all-time superstar.
Sabrina, you want to come for the party? Sandy, would you like to be in Indiana? Have you ever tried the Indiana barbecue out in the hood? Come on.
I would expect them to really, again, be bullish in who they go after. We know that they are a WNBA franchise that invests a lot in a lot of resources, a lot of financial, capital into these decisions. So I think it wouldn't be shocking, though, if they decide to go after maybe someone in the NBA, someone that we might be a little bit more of a non-traditional hire. I do think Sandy Brondello has a great shot of getting hired again. We know what she has done in this league.
The Liberty's ownership group operates with a cutthroat Wall Street mindset. If you don't deliver maximum returns every single season, you're cut loose. There's no room for nuance or context, like your top 3 players suffering major, season-altering injuries. This wasn't a basketball decision made in the best interest of the team. It was a political power play, a move designed to show who was in charge, regardless of the consequences. It was an absurd, ego-driven decision made by people who see players and coaches as assets on a spreadsheet, not as human beings.
I think we need to make a move to get Sandy Brondello to the Indiana Fever, man. I think this is Sandy Brondello with Caitlin Clark. This is the closest thing we would get to Lisa Bluter. Stop.
This brings us back to the incredible once-in-a-generation opportunity that is now sitting there in plain sight for the Indiana Fever. New York's catastrophic, ego-driven mistake could become Indiana's revolution. Imagine the league's most empowering and respected coach paired with its most transcendent and game-changing player. That isn't just a winning combination. It's a force that could shift the entire balance of power in the WNBA for years to come.
Winning the title, what exactly led to the parting of ways between the Liberty and Sandy Brondello here?
Well, Malika, I know you guys talk about this a lot in the NBA and in other sports, but it was really championship or bust for New York and for Sandy Brondello. And in fact, if they hadn't won the championship last year, we might have been having this conversation a year ago, which is maybe a little startling to fans outside, given how, excuse me for those noises, for how impactful she'd been for that franchise. But that is how bullish this organization is in New York.
The perfect coach is now a free agent. The generational superstar is waiting, and a partnership that fans across the world are begging for is now tantalizingly possible. The only question left is, will it actually be allowed to happen? Or is the very idea of a Caitlin Clark and Sandy Brondello dynasty simply too powerful, too threatening for the rest of the league's old guard to handle? The stage is set for a move that could either create a dynasty or expose the politics standing in its way.